every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Yo. Well, I still feel like I always started that way.
Hey, it's all good, man.
Welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast, guys. Did I say that right?
Yeah, podcast.
All right. Today, we have Ash Armand in the house.
Oh, shit.
How
My
you
man.
doing? Good evening.
How you doing, man?
I'm great, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm good.
Well-
Life is good.
I was going to ask you, what did you do today?
Today was a pretty mellow day. Just chill with a friend of mine, trained, read some books. I read a lot today.
How much do you usually read? Like,
You know what? I just started reading again. I got out of the habit of reading. I used to read I have like fucking shitload of books.
Yeah.
And I think coming to Vegas, my reading slowly started like going down and down and down, and then I became like so much more about the hustle and just being in the moment that I kind of let go of that part
Yeah.
of myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I definitely noticed it's like affected my ability to memorize stuff.
Really?
Yeah, man.
damn, I should start reading then.
Yeah.
Reading is important
Real talk.
because it's, language is really, I think, what separated us to like other animals in a big way. Our
Yeah.
ability to communicate with each other, and by reading books by people who are really great at communicating,
Yeah.
it activates different parts of the brain that needs to be stimulated.
Yeah, because you can communicate way better once you know your vocabulary and everything.
For sure,
Like,
just
I feel like-
and your ability to visualize reality through words becomes so much better. Otherwise it's kind of like
dull.
You might like see a lot in your head, but for you to communicate that with somebody else, to see the vision in your head becomes very difficult.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think the last book I read was Captain Underpants, bro.
Yeah, that's deep, bro.
It's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute. Don't judge
That's
me.
really deep.
I was gonna say, but yeah, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Do you think there's a difference between like reading a book and listening to a book?
I definitely think there is a difference because you're activating different when you're listening. Just listening, it's more of a.
Is it like just different parts of your brain working?
It's like watching TV, right? You're in more of a hypnotic state where
Yeah.
you're just pure receiving. When you're reading, you're also
Training your brain.
yeah. So
I
it's
guess.
like it's a two-part thing where you're focusing to, get in like accumulate the information. I don't know. I think there must be a difference.
It makes sense. It makes sense because
Yeah.
like if you're reading a book, you have to actually try, right? You have to try to
Yeah.
read the words as opposed to when
it takes your attention a lot more, because if you're just kind of passively listening,
Yeah.
which I don't think is a bad thing either, but I'm sure there's a huge difference to it.
Well, hold on. We got way carried away with this podcast, man.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yes.
let's tell people like who are you and what do you do, man?
Okay, so who am I? Well, professionally, I work as a male escort for a company called Cowboys for Angels. I used to do a show called Gigolos on Showtime. I'm also my background is in massage therapy and fitness. And I've studied about like sexuality for a long time. It's something that I've always been really interested in, and how affects society and how people interact through their sex, and how to kind of master your own sexuality so you know what you're doing, but it's not something that dictates your behavior.
Yeah. Wait, so you said you used to work for the Showtime show, or
Well, I mean, technically it's not canceled, but we haven't filmed in like 2 years.
okay?
So I don't know what they're doing with the show. Like they say it's not canceled, because usually when they like a show's done, they have an official like show's canceled.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they have reserved the right to be able to renew it, but it's just really strange because
So it's on a hiatus technically right now.
Yeah, it's a show that never failed. It did better every season.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they just put it on the shelf for a while. So I don't know what they're doing with it.
That's
to be
interesting,
honest.
man. Because when I hear Gigolo, like
Yeah.
I'm ignorant, man. I think of like Deuce Bigelow, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
movie. Like that's the
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
we
only
get that a
way
lot.
that I can associate that word with anything is because it's not a
Yeah.
very common thing to me.
Yes.
So tell me like a little bit like about being like a male escort. Like how what do you think are some of the common misconceptions of being like a male escort?
Common misconceptions. I think there's a lot of people equate it like purely to just the thing. Gigolo has a lot of stigma, where it's like they think it's something like purely like it's just like we're like slinging our dicks kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's really we're really just selling our time. So it's so much more. It's more like being a great companion. So it's,
Yeah.
a lot of it is like therapy. Like you just go there, and you're there to really figure out why the person is there.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? It's like, did they just go through a breakup, so they're kind of like looking to be cheered up and feel like the center of the universe, or are they just in Vegas? They want to go out and just have a crazy time and kind of have like a bodyguard slush, like eye candy,
Yeah.
with them on their side, or or they're like a high-powered businesswoman where they're looking for somebody who has no drama, but they can have a blast with, and then when it's like time is over, they just can be like, yo, they don't have to even worry about it. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is just going and being a people person. Just it's like it's not that different than most of service industry.
Now, well, whenever you are a male escort for somebody, is there like a contract process? They gotta sign paperwork, or
they have to sign a certain thing that's like they're not contracting a sexual service, so they can never expect that.
Yeah.
So they have to sign a thing that they understand that before the actual booking happens.
Because that would be technically like quote unquote illegal, right?
Yeah, it's illegal. Like you can't just like call up and be like, "Yo, I'm going to get banged."
Yeah.
Is
it prostitution at that point?
At that point,
Would it
it's
be?
straight up prostitution, especially
crazy.
in the laws in America. Like I think like in Australia, Amsterdam, there's few countries where they're just a lot more like liberal about all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't care. It's like they just you can list like people like they list all the different things that they can do and
That's
whatnot.
crazy.
Yeah, so it's just a little different in the States.
So you're from India, right?
Okay, yeah, my mother's Indian. So
Okay.
I was born in New Delhi.
You were born in
But,
New Delhi.
yeah.
Where's New Delhi at? That's in India.
New Delhi's northern India.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the really big cities.
How
in
did you
India.
end up like moving to the United States? I just want to know how you ended up being
Whoa,
born there and then coming to Vegas. Like,
Yeah, well, it's a lot. I've been to a lot of places before I ever made it to Vegas.
Yeah.
Honestly, I never thought I'll move to Vegas.
Really?
It's kind of life takes you in mysterious ways. But so my dad and my mom met in Japan originally. My dad was he's a very intelligent man. He went to college when he was very young because he was like one of those accelerated students.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
And he always been a rebel kind of activist guy. Got kicked out of school because he was doing a lot of rallies and this and that. And then they were like, okay, well, it's Vietnam War time. So they're like, you got to go kill some people. And he was like, no, I'm not going to go kill people. I'd rather save people. Like, I'll help people.
yeah.
So he joined the Peace Corps instead. And he ended up in like, I don't know. I think his last station was Korea. And he started a import-export business between Japan and Korea where he like get these old medicine chests,
Yeah.
this beautiful chest, and then he'll refurbish it and he'll bring it over to Japan and sell it at top dollar. And he did really well doing that. And he decided to move to Japan and open up a club in Japan. So Kyoto is like the old capital of Japan, and it's one of those places. Like even when I was growing up there was not a lot of foreigners, but it was like back then there was hardly any foreigners. And he like opened up a rock club out there. So all the foreigners used to go there, and my mom was an exchange student. So that's how they met.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That's a pretty
Yeah, that's
like
kinda tight.
unique way to meet somebody, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So wait, so how did you? So okay, so you were born in New Delhi, right?
Yeah.
When did you move to the United States?
I moved to the States. Okay, so like when I was 1.5, my grandparents flew my brother and me and my mom out to the States.
Okay.
And
But not to Nevada, right? It was
No, I came to Nevada like I guess it's been a while now, like about 4 or 5 years ago. But before that, I lived in a lot of different places. I grew up mostly on the East Coast
Oh, okay.
and Japan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So how did the whole opportunity of like becoming like on the TV show Gigolos come to be like? Is it kind of like one of those things where you know somebody and then they ask you and?
Well, okay. I guess I should go a little backstory. So, in my like late teens, early 20s, I used to model. I used to model in New York and a little bit in Europe and also in Miami. So, I don't know if anybody knows Model Mayhem. It was like it was like a
it's
data.
still around.
Does that
Yeah,
website still work, man?
I don't know, man. Like I
Yeah.
haven't logged in a long time, but even after I stopped modeling, I still had a profile up there because like sometimes for like my training and massage, like I want to update my photos and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll just meet up with photographers and do shoots like that. So I had a profile up on there, and the guy who owns the agency, Garen James, found me on it.
Okay.
And he just sent me a quick note when I was actually back in Miami working, and I was curious, to be honest. Honestly, I didn't think it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Because even though I know people in the sort of, that world, most guys who were doing it were generally gay or bi. Because
Really?
men, just hire, like, men spend more money on their, adult needs, let's say. So I didn't really think there was an industry for straight women that wanted to hire men for their time.
Like you didn't think that would be a thing that happens?
I didn't even think it was real. And like, I kind of grew to like the name Cowboys for Angels, but when I first said it, I was like, dude, this is not real. It's like, I just thought it was like kind of like, it was like a joke. It was like a hoax,
Yeah, like some fake thing.
Yeah.
But I was curious, so I went to go meet the guy, and turned out to be a really, really cool dude. Everything was legit. I was kind of going through a transition period in my life. I just moved back to Miami from LA. I was sort of breaking up with my son's mom, and I was paying for a place in LA and had a place in Miami, and I was like, yeah, any way to make some extra money. I was curious, so I kind of went on for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the same day I met him, he was like, yo, like, you're so different. Like, your whole feeling is different than all the guys I have. There's a show called Gigolos on Showtime. Like, would you be interested in being on it? And I was like, the first day we met. And that too, I thought he was messing with me. I was like, a show called Gigolos.
There's some kind of scam going on.
I was like, what the heck?
Nah.
But I looked it up, and it was legit, and I just decided to go along for the ride. Like, literally 3 months later, I was filming for the show after I started working for him.
So aside from like actually being on the show, like your profession is actually being like also a male escort for Cowboys for Angels, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's like something that's currently like ongoing right now. That's what you do outside of that show, regardless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
One question that I had was, what do you think makes a good gigolo? Like, what is something that you find women kind of like that you see like a recurring theme when you're with these women? Like, is there something that they constantly like feed? Because I know like guys, they whenever they hire a female escort, it's always like a sexual thing, right? Like they want, but for a lot of women,
it depends on the level.
Really?
Of it is, because like even men are looking for companionship. Like I think the women who make the most money develop relationships with the guys.
Oh.
It's not, and then there's the ones that are just getting hired for like a quick fix kind of thing.
Yeah, like a date.
Yeah.
Do you ever get to like
levels to it.
do you ever get to like pick and choose your clients, or is it kind of like a?
Well, I definitely have repeats and so on. But everything goes through the agency, so if they call up and they can technically book my time. It doesn't mean I'm gonna see them again.
Yeah.
If I don't, if we don't have a good time together, but yeah.
So it's kind of like being an actual, like when you're an actual model and then you have an agency and they book you out for commercials and gigs like that,
exactly,
right? So there's a whole professional level to that. I feel like that's one of the common misconceptions that I would imagine being in like that profession is like, because when I hear gigolo, I'm like, oh, like women pay you for sex. Like that's what I think of, right?
That's definitely the connotation, and I think to be like absolutely honest, I feel the show is doing their best job to kind of recreate what's actually there, like what actually is going on. But that's
TV in general, though.
Yeah, but they use certain terms that are more controversial to draw an audience.
Shock
you know
value.
what I mean?
That's
Shock
all it is.
value, and then each of us on the show, we're very sort of typecasted. Like they kind of focus in an aspect of you. Like I grew up meditating, and my mom was a yoga instructor and so on, but they kind of like, they'll focus in that. They're like, oh, he's a Zen master.
You're a spiritual guru
and the yoga.
type
Like,
yeah.
instead of just being like, it's just an aspect of me, because they want to make it, it's just like,
it's like almost
like they're creating a stereotype that's easy for people to relate to. Like they're like, okay, I get it. This guy's this guy, this guy's this guy. And it's like, it's an easy storyline to sort of follow and get involved in, Yeah.
I feel like that's like the most reality TV show. Like it's just easier when you look at somebody on TV that's famous. It's like, okay, well, they're that person and they're inside that box.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
you just like typecast them, and then like you said, they're more familiar. They're like, oh, okay, I know this type of character.
Yeah.
So I can agree with what he does or whatnot. Like,
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Do you ever find like your profession as a gigolo, as a male escort? Do you find that it kind of puts like, does it make having a relationship hard, or is that completely separated? Like,
For sure. No, it definitely makes the relationship hard. 1000%. And honestly, like after all that I've been through, I think it's better not to be in a relationship while you're working.
Oh, really?
I just really feel that way. I feel I I'm not as present with whoever I'm with if I'm in a relationship. I'm really looking at the time like, when the heck am I getting out of here?
Yeah.
Even if the client is a fantastic client.
Yeah.
So if any guys are getting into the industry, like, don't be in a relationship. Like, just focus on your job while you're doing it, and use it as a stepping stone to get somewhere else. And it's better not to be in a relationship.
I feel like
That's
that
crazy.
that would also be like
Yeah.
like in the adult film industry, right? Like there's a lot of girls, like, cause I've seen interviews on YouTube
Yeah.
where they interview like these porn stars and they're like, oh yeah, like it's I have a relationship, right? But
Yeah.
I don't ever like see, unless it's cause there's like this couple, Brycey and JD, on YouTube.
Okay.
And they're their own I guess label or company for
Team,
adult
yeah.
films.
Yes.
But they're like husband and wife team, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
that's
so
cool.
it's like, so that's an example I feel where it would work. But when it's like, when it's not that way, I feel like it almost,
Well, I think it depends. Like, if I've seen couples in the industry where they both work, and they're also very sexual people, and they're kind of swingers anyway.
yeah.
So in that case, I think it probably, it works for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what problems they have when nobody else is looking.
That's
but,
got to be like a whole
but
psychological thing.
But
though,
Yeah.
it seems like, overall what they present is they're pretty happy in their relationship. So,
But do you
I
think
you just have
any-
to see what works for
like,
you?
If you're in the field of like porn or anything, do you
Yeah.
think it affects anything sexual wise or anything, or?
Well, honestly, I think it takes a certain type of person to do mainstream porn. Like, well, as
like a certain kind of mentality.
But as you guys know, like, you guys film for the website we used to have called Exotica, and like, for me, I love that because I was absolutely in love with who I was filming with,
Right.
and I just think it was more artistic and beautiful, and it was organic.
Yeah.
Like the porn industry, it's very mechanical. You're going there. Oftentimes you don't have any vibe with the person. Times you're probably not even attracted to the person you're with.
Yeah. It's a job.
And it's like you're literally just, I don't know, it's a little strange. I think it takes a certain type of person to do that, like, I signed up for a company just out of curiosity to see, like, what would it be like to go in and do it. And I didn't like it at all. I just thought it was so,
like the entire environment
it
of
was
like,
just so disconnected. And to me, like, sex is a lot more than that, It's like, as an art, there's a beauty to it. There needs to be chemistry. Like, otherwise, what are we just poking body parts? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just, I don't know. I think it kills. I think that's why there's a lot of weirdness in, like, the youth's idea of sexuality, because they grow up watching this super disconnected sex where they're just using each other as body parts, and there's no, I don't know. It's just, it takes away the human element from it.
right.
What the of how, like, affection and attraction happens, because that all has to happen in real life before sex happens.
Yeah. It naturally.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
everybody's going straight to just like, oh, let's
Thrusting.
spread the ass and poke a finger. Like, it's
That's gonna be a gif right there.
it's so non-organic. It's
Yeah.
It's a
You
little
know,
like, it's like what is it?
and
It's
it's-
reality TV. Like, it's set up, it's super fake, and a lot of
it's
people like
super
base their
objectifying.
first sexual experience with usually porn, and it's
Yeah.
like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Like, it needs to be more sensual.
And they don't get to enjoy it because, like, the thing people don't understand is, like, your body is like this miracle of sensations, like, and there's so much feeling in your body if you can allow yourself to feel it. But if you're too stuck in your head or you're too tense, you don't feel anything. So you're just stuck in the action of wanting to live out this weird fantasy that's like this tension that's built up to release that, instead of actually really enjoying the experience and exploring each other's body and exploring each other's fantasies. Like, it's you're too into your head that you're not really creating this kind of loop of energy where you start getting high off each other's excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine, and I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants this information out there, but I have an anonymous friend who's actually practicing what's it called, abstinence.
Yeah.
And he told me that essentially that when he feels, because he's a very spiritual kind of guy, like he does
Yeah.
a lot of meditation and things like that, and he says that whenever you have like a sexual encounter with somebody, people don't realize
The bonding that happens.
the bonding that happens, and
Oh,
also
it's
how
powerful, man.
you're taking on who they are as
Yeah.
a part of you.
Yeah.
And if you guys aren't ultimately good for each other, then it kind of leaves like like a bad.
It's. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people can like understand, but it's like there's like a karma and dharma to everything you do. Every action for me coming here and having this interview with you, it changes my whole course of my reality. You know what I mean? The people I associate with, that affects my energetic field. Like there's everything affects everything, and and sex is one of the most bonding experiences you can really have. It's the most primal experience you can really have. So if you think that that's not going to affect you at any level, you're freaking delusional,
Yeah, something's
Wow.
definitely wrong.
Yeah.
That's deep. Like, because I've been learning a lot,
Yeah.
being in a relationship and whatnot, and just like before that too, just like always basing myself off of once again what I see on TV and everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, it blinds a lot of people, and a lot of people's minds are like fogged up.
No,
Yeah.
we're super fogged up. We're overstimulated. We're so disconnected to our just innate ability to perceive.
Well, we're constantly in the need of being medicated, like kind of. Like for example, if I'm getting sleepy, like I want an energy drink, right? Like we need
Yes,
that
yes.
external force to keep us kind of like
keep
focused
us on
and-
the buzz,
Yeah.
taking the Adderalls, taking this, and I did this little thing on my Instagram page before, and people I don't know, they complain a lot about all these young rappers talking about drugs, and I'm like, well, parents are putting their kids on drugs. They're making lifelong drug users
yeah.
out of these kids.
Like, I don't even notice it.
Dude, my son's almost 16, and when he was like 7. Yeah, he was going to school in Santa Monica. He's scoring at the top 5 percentile in California,
Oh wow.
right? And the teacher's calling me in and telling me that my son needs to be on Adderall, and they have put this whole freaking meeting on. And I was like, what? I'm like, no way you're gonna put my son on Adderall. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, because when he gets up and when he goes to write something on the board, he will dance and move. I'm like, he's half fucking Dominican. The movement is a part of life. It's not natural for a kid to sit in a classroom for an hour. So if he's getting up and moving around a little before, he's gonna go right. There's nothing wrong in that. So why are you trying to make my kid into a druggie?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever guys watch. Do you watch that special on Netflix about? It's about pills. It's like the whole. But it just shows that the whole Adderall thing was just. It was a way for the pharmaceutical companies to basically sling speed to children, and they created all these ADD and all these bullshit names to make it okay for parents to be like, okay, yeah, you can give my son some drugs.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't
so
Adderall
bad.
essentially isn't it like meth or something like
It's
that?
speed,
or-
bro. It's speed. That's what it is. That's why they can focus so well. That's what if
Wow.
you notice people, if you don't know anybody, if people who take a lot of Adderall, they start aging super fast, bro. It just.
You think Macaulay
it's
Culkin
not
was
good.
on Adderall?
A lot of people are on
Dude,
Adderall.
I wouldn't doubt
Adderall,
it.
Ritalin,
It's a normal thing.
Ritalin, that's the
Xanny.
one. That's the one. Yeah.
Xanny, tons of fucking people are on this.
'Cause
stuff.
what, like-
it's a huge industry.
Ritalin and that would be like uppers, and then Xannies would be like downers. Like,
Yeah, Xanny is
that's
it's an
crazy.
anti-anxiety.
Bro, I'm
medication.
so anti actual pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
That unless it's absolutely needed, I won't do it, man. If I have a
Yeah.
headache, I'll unless I'm with a Motrin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing I'll take. But
Yeah.
Tylenol for a headache, I'll just get through the headache.
Yeah.
If it's something that I can get through easily, then I'd rather just not.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the less you can do, the better it is for your body. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then your body starts getting used to that medication, and then it's like, yo, I'm gonna need you a little bit more. Because that's how I used to be with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a genetic thing or probably how I eat, but I just on my mom's side we've had a lot of migraines and headaches, from my grandpa to my mom to me. So I get a lot of headaches.
Okay, gotcha.
So I used to take a shit ton of fucking Tylenol. I didn't really
Gotcha.
know how bad it was for you.
Yeah, it's
and then
really
it literally
harsh on the
it
intestines.
I think I got an ulcer, or where you bleed, your stomach's bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother got one of those.
Because I puked out black, and I was like, what happened?
Whoa.
And then I was like, the doctor was like, oh yeah, did you eat anything? I was like, nope. I was like,
Yeah,
he's like,
you-
how many Tylenols?
You got to coat your belly before
Yeah.
you take that stuff.
See, I never knew
Yeah.
that stuff, and Yeah, it does tell you on there. You know, it's like don't take more than this amount.
They're like,
but-
your head might explode, your penis might fall off.
all these side
Okay,
effects.
this headache hurts too bad.
Jeez, man. Wait, so real quick,
Yeah.
going back to like this would probably be one of the last escort questions that I have.
Yeah,
but
go
it's like,
for it.
is there anything? Is like the sexual part of it sometimes expected? Like, do they ever like?
Want it?
Let's just put it in the way that, like, you know, we all have our needs, you know, and
Yeah.
you're an adult and you're with somebody you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Wait, how long are you contracted like to be with people? Is it like a difference, like an hourly thing, kind of?
Yeah, I don't do hours. I used to not even do 2 hours. Like minimum was 4 hours.
Yeah.
But like since I moved to Vegas, because the show was shot here, there's a lot of fans of the show. Literally, people just want to meet you to like talk to you about the show. So then I started doing 2 hours after that. But yeah,
Okay.
minimum is 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Damn, that's really short. I thought it was like a whole day type deal.
Oh yeah,
you go, like-
we do like weeks and stuff.
Oh,
you
wow.
know?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Damn.
I was gonna say, so what part, like, what part of your life was it that kind of like pushed you to be like a massage therapist in the first place? Because I know you mentioned you do like massage therapy, right?
Well, I don't professionally practice anymore, but I did for 10 years.
Oh, you did 10
Oh,
years?
damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
For a long time. It was like my primary profession.
What was the thing that made you want to do that?
Oh, okay. So growing up, I didn't say, but when I was 4.5, they moved to Japan. So I lived in Japan from I was 4.5 till I was 15. My mom was always studying like alternative medicine. She was doing massage therapy and all this stuff. Well, not she wasn't professionally practicing massage therapy, but she was an actual yoga instructor, and she studied like shiatsu.
Yeah.
So she used to take me to her classes when she was younger. I developed asthma when I was younger, and I was asthmatic and I had scoliosis. And it was pretty bad. So I was hospitalized a bunch of times. So my mom she put me through a lot of different Eastern therapies. So I was always around that stuff, and then I really got into fitness, and that kind of like really, it helped me break through to being like a healthy person, and then martial arts. So it just became something that was sort of important to me since I was young. It was kind of like my path to health, and then I also wanted to be able to share that with people who had problems. So I was really curious, and actually I wanted to study Chinese medicine. So when I was modeling in New York and working like a bunch of jobs, just hustling, I was saving up money to go to school, to go to a Chinese medical school. And essentially I met a beautiful girl that I fell in love with, and we were having a lot of unprotected sex. I was like 19 and was almost 20, and she became pregnant, and she wanted to keep the baby. So I was like, okay, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I need a profession immediately,
Right.
because this modeling was, you have to travel the world. It wasn't reliable enough.
Yeah.
And
It was very
so,
sporadic.
yeah, so I was just like, I was looking for something I can make a steady income in. I'm like, Chinese medical school, minimum 4 years. How am I gonna support my kid while I'm doing that?
Right.
So I was like, okay, massage school is 7 months. Like, I'm already have some money saved up. So that was it. So I went into massage school so I could,
Dang, so
be a good dad. You know?
so that part of your life came out of like a necessity, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Like it needed to happen.
That's
yeah,
tight.
exactly.
So real quick, how old were you when you signed up for that agency, the Gigolo agency?
Well, signed up for it. Well, I think
Or
I,
get
I was,
contracted to
yeah,
it.
I was like 30 years old.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get into it way
Okay, so that
later
was
because
way
I'm
later.
36 now. Yeah, and it wasn't like something I was.
Dang, you're young,
Yeah.
man.
It wasn't something I was planning in my life,
Yeah.
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 It was just like I'm gonna take the.
Yeah, I was like, okay, and then I was good at it, so I just rolled. And then once it came out on TV, it was kind of the cat was out of the box. So it's like, okay, let's go for the ride, you know?
Have you
Yeah.
learned a lot like through that, like the processes of like just dealing with people and whatnot?
Oh,
like,
for sure, because you're dealing with people that are very. I mean, massage therapy is very intimate too, but it's different. Even training people is pretty intimate, but it's extremely intimate. You connect with people at like definitely learn a lot.
I was gonna say because I would imagine that being in that profession, you kind of have to learn. It's like a different trait, right? Like you have to know people, and it takes a lot of people skills that
sure.
that people don't typically like have. Like some
Yeah.
people get awkward. You know what I mean? Like or they'll say the wrong things. But when you're in that profession, you kind of have to learn how to, one, keep your cool, and two, not even just you, but you have to make them feel like
Yeah.
Everything's
you
cool,
have to be
right? Like-
super adaptable. You have to be sensitive, but also masculine, because women want somebody to take a lead.
Yeah.
But you also have to be sensitive enough to see what they want, not rather than just like a douchebag guy who's like, this is what I want to do. So
Yeah.
it's like a lot of different aspects of your awareness and masculinity. Like you have to know yourself pretty well, and also a good understanding of what women are looking for.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, so you on your Instagram page, your bio, do you have something like where it's like king of sex or something like that? Can you explain that real quick, man?
It's a little
'Cause
cheesy.
I had somebody
It's a little
ask.
cheesy. Well, it's also like marketing, and really a lot of it is I want to go more into for education. Like I want to design a course. I just haven't figured out the proper structure. Like if I want to put it first as like a weekend workshop, or if I want to make it as like a series of like people can like an online thing where it's like using fitness to make men better lovers.
Yeah.
And then also a couples like a group, like a couple fitness thing that they can do together. So I don't know how I want to put it out, but it's also controversy. Like you're putting yourself out in a certain way, and I'm very confident about my knowledge about sexuality.
Yeah.
And so why not? King of Sex, let's fucking put it out there.
King of Sex.
Yeah.
That's catchy. I was gonna say, because have you ever heard of there's an actual program out here in Vegas where it's like Stripper 101, right?
Yeah.
For this company, and it essentially teaches like women how to
Pole dance.
pole dance.
Yeah.
But it's like also like a fitness kind of thing, right? Like
Yeah,
right?
pole
am I
dance.
mistaken?
100%.
That's a crazy
So,
fitness.
so I feel
man.
like sexual like exercise could also be something similar along those lines.
And I feel like it's like Tantra, and there's all these I'll never say like I feel what they teach out here is pure Tantra, because Tantra is so much deeper.
What's Tantra?
What's Tantra?
We're talking about tantric sex?
Well, tantric sex, it's an aspect of Tantra. Tantra is a way, it's practicing spirituality. So there's mantra, which is the chanting. There's visualize. It's really deep. It's an ancient study of spirituality. And then there's the right and left hand side. There's a side that actually uses sex to practice.
Right.
Different states of awareness. It's more for meditation, to use it as a way to break through blockages and circulate energy. So they teach what they teach mostly in America is this they extract a part of Tantra and they sell it because sex sells. So they they sell the part which is the sexual part of it. But there's certain techniques and stuff that if you apply it in your sex life that can really energetically be healing, and also help you get into these like deep states of consciousness, or just connect to your higher states of awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a very
So-
spiritual kind of like person too, right? Like you believe in like energies and all that stuff.
Well,
like
yeah. I mean, how can you not believe? I mean, your light is on because of energy. It's
Yeah.
like I
Nevada
think,
power?
I think sometimes people feel like they make it too complicated. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's too umfufu, and I'm like, no, like everything is literally energy. Like
Energy and vibrations.
You eat food
yeah.
for energy. It's like everything is energy.
Yeah.
And it's just
Good or bad.
And there's different levels of energy, like atoms, like how it's like basically we're a bunch of atoms configured because of how our DNA is structured.
Yeah.
And it's all just the spinning. I mean, it's energy. It is what it is. It's it's not.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that thing where like you stand next to somebody and they have their hands like next to their body, but then you kind of like move your hand closer to theirs?
Yeah, you can feel
very
the field.
slowly, and you can feel like a
You
little
feel the
push,
field.
What's
right?
that called?
Everything is-
Isn't that called like something healing? Like, can't they do that? Energy healing?
Got
Like
that
Where they go
sexual
The-
healing.
that too.
There's a lot of different types of energy healing. The one that's probably the most well known is Reiki.
Oh yeah, Reiki.
Yeah,
Like,
but there's a lot of different. There's qigong, and like if you ever watched those like qigong masters doing energy healing, so freaking amazing, man. There's this one that Greg Baden posted. Greg Baden went around the road just documenting different miraculous healing. And I forgot the name of the clinic, but it's a clinic in China, and they're all qigong practitioners. And they show it on a sonogram. This lady, she has like a massive like tumor
Yeah.
in her was it her belly? not sure. Anyway, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that cavity area. So they're showing the sonogram, and then these qigong guys start like they put their hand, they start doing energy work, and they start chanting on it, and it literally in live you can see the tumor shrink and it disappears.
Wow.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
shit's freaking crazy, man.
See, I'd always love to try like things like that.
There's real stuff out there for sure, you know.
If I ever get sick, I'm coming to you, bro.
Oh well, I ain't at that level, man.
But you can point us in the right direction.
Yeah, I
You know
can.
what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
no,
yo,
no.
just tell them to go to.
Oh, for sure, I can point you in the right direction. That I can do.
Yeah, I have a buddy who's
Yeah.
super into all that, man. Like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna become like a Buddhist, man.
Yeah,
You know who I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have him on the podcast probably at the end of the month too.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, man.
Buddhism is a fantastic system, you know. I think.
Yeah. Well, just he also does like intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
where he'll eat like once a day and that's it.
Yeah, it's big
you know?
right now. It works for people's bodies.
That's
you
what
know?
I'd be doing.
You have to see what works for you. You know, I think people get really stuck in different sort of diets because they see, oh, I want to become vegan or I want to become. I'm like, you have to figure out what works for your body. For some people, being vegan is going to work fantastically.
Yeah.
But then you also have to figure out, like, what does your body respond? Like, are you allergic to beans? There's so many, like, you have to really take the time to figure out how does your body process food. And then from that, you can.
You gotta work, yeah, because everybody's different.
Yeah, you can
for
work
sure.
what works the best for you.
Because that's how I felt about the CBD thing too. You know,
Yeah.
like I heard a lot of people like getting it right away with the tincture.
Yes,
I've been
yes.
doing it for like, because like now I heard like you need to take it for a while for your body to figure it out.
For some people,
Yeah,
some
and
people it works immediately.
instantly.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked for me for anything.
Yep.
Like maybe for my emotion side, but I don't really need it for that. I need it
Yeah.
for my back, but
And it doesn't work.
hasn't been really working. I've tried everything, so
Yeah.
like my next step would be, let me try the THC with the CBD because they say that's another way. But you just gotta, for anything, it's probably not gonna work for you right away. That's why you just keep trying new things over and over.
Yeah, because I mean, we're like a chemical factory, right? I
Mhm.
mean, so everybody's body reacts differently to different substances. Same thing with alcohol. Everybody reacts very differently to alcohol.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
stopped
so
drinking.
it depends what. Yeah.
I stopped drinking. You know what's crazy though?
What?
Is one, I never had a problem drinking,
Okay.
but it's just like I realized like it's kind of like something in my life that I don't really need, and I
Yeah.
can't recall a certain time when I've drunk,
Yeah.
and it was like a great experience. Like it's always like oh my head the next day or like
Yeah,
you throw
yeah.
up, and it's like it's just it didn't seem like something that I needed, and it kind of I don't know, it feels good to kind of like sometimes just get rid of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, almost on a minimalist.
As long
kinda-
as you're not like vicing out to something else,
Yeah.
like
No,
I think
yeah,
that's
no.
an excellent thing because alcohol isn't good, bro. I don't
Yeah.
like maybe a little teeny moderation. That's the beautiful word.
that's
you
what they
know?
say.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Moderation, but
Yeah, exactly.
like cause I was just talking to some guy today and he like fucked up his eye and he had internal bleeding and all that.
Ooh.
But he was saying like he stopped red meat while it was
Mhm.
like going back to normal. And
Yeah.
he said instantly the inflammation stopped and
went,
it like
yeah.
it wasn't inflamed no more.
Damn.
Just
Yeah.
from stopping for a couple of days the red meat and just going straight like
Fascinating.
vegetarian. So it does show you that once again, bodies are different.
Everybody's different,
but
bro.
it still
Yeah.
shows you how certain things that go into your body will
Affect you in a
It's
certain
just-
way.
it's just-
But but for me, it's strange because like I tried the whole vegan thing. Like I did my first ayahuasca ceremony years ago, and I had all these amazing visions, and I was just like, dude, I really would like to make an attempt to not eat animals, you know. And it was just more for myself. Like I'm not the type of guy like will go preach and tell people what they can do and they what can't do. But like for me, I was like I want to try this. So I did it for 6 months, and the first month I felt great because I feel like I detoxed all whatever like probably
For
a
sure.
lot of toxins I was taking in. But after that, it was just a steady decline in my energy. Like my energy level just was dropping and
That's the thing.
dropping. I didn't want to work out no more. And I tried everything. I was like, okay, maybe if I eat much more spinach, okay, let me eat more beans, let me eat more this. And my body doesn't process it very well. So I was always having stomach aches and just really feeling shitty all the time. And I started like literally, like it wasn't chicken or anything, but when I saw red meat, I would drool. Like it was uncontrollable. Like I look at a cow, and it was very primal. Like I wanted to kill it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It was, even though I love animals, like I'm
Yeah.
not a.
Yeah.
But like I just had that side of, I could feel that predatorial.
It's in our genetics.
Side in
Yeah,
me, like
Whichever way you look
kick in.
at it.
And
Yeah.
I respond really well to red meat, like more than fish and chicken. Like my body craves red meat and it processes it really well. I never have a stomach problem when I'm eating red meat. I definitely try to stay away from all the hormones and stuff because you don't know what
Like
the heck.
more organic type meat.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like
But,
you said, man. Everybody's body's different. Like
Everybody's
if you can
different,
live
man.
your life, because there's people that I know,
Yeah.
or that Chuck knows, they've been vegan for 10, 15
Yeah, 20
years, like
years,
20
and they're good.
years.
And they're
You
doing
know?
fantastic.
Yeah, they're
And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, there's vegan foods out there that like I feel like look just like regular foods. Like I wouldn't like. You
Yeah.
showed me like some chicken or teriyaki.
Oh
chicken
yeah,
or
I gave you
something.
some. I get vegan food here and there.
Yeah.
So he gets vegan food sometimes because
Yeah.
of his girlfriend, and I tried it and I was like, this tastes just like orange chicken. You know what I mean? But it's
But
like,
you know, one thing I don't get though is like, you are anti-eating chicken and meat, and why are you eating shit that looks like meat? I don't know. I don't get that,
Hey,
man.
hey,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
get
deep.
That's weird. I don't.
I guess
that's true.
I guess the two things would be like, you know, you're trying your best,
Yeah.
and you know you don't want to switch,
Well,
but you're like,
there's-
fuck, I'm gonna do it, but I need to make it seem like it's something I know.
There's two
Gotcha,
reasons
gotcha.
somebody would go vegan. There's two reasons. One or the other, or maybe both. One is because of the whole animal killing
Yeah.
thing. You know, they want to be a good humanitarian. They don't want to hurt the animals. They don't want to support the factories that
Exactly.
abuse them. So that's one aspect. But then the
Yeah.
other aspect is just to be healthier, right?
Yeah.
Is to be healthier. So because they say that there are health implications that whenever you eat meat, like it's not
Yeah.
good for you because it does this to you, it causes cancer, all these other things. So it could definitely be one or the other, or maybe both.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I was to do it, it would definitely don't get me wrong. Like I'm a meat eater, so I would, if I did go vegan, I would want something that resembles to eat meat. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Make the
Like,
transition easier.
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean-
see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
because
So-
I just feel like one thing too is there's a lot of vegans out there that aren't healthy, that are probably
dude,
worse
there's-
off than a meat
man,
eater.
The first,
you know what I mean?
The first vegans I ever met
Potato
I
chips.
went to 1 year of high school in Kennebunkport, Maine. Well, Kennebunk, yeah. So my grandparents lived there, and my parents sent me there to go to high school. And I hung out with these few like vegan kids, and all they were like, "Oh, it's vegan." I'm like, "No, but it's fucking junk food that you're eating."
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter. It's vegan. Like it's still you're putting crap in your body. You know,
Yeah.
it's like vegan with MSG. I'm like, it's still freaking you're putting toxins in your
Yeah.
body, and they were all kind of unhealthy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I would imagine like a lot of vegan food has soy in it, right? That's like a big ingredient.
Yes, there's a lot of
it's-
soy.
It's correct me if I'm wrong, but soy is not supposed to be like a good thing for men, right?
Well, it's soy.
The
Soy
estrogen,
is
right?
high in estrogen,
Yeah.
so
So it would lower your testosterone, right?
well, yes, too much estrogen is just not needed for like we need a certain amount of estrogen. Even actually,
Yeah.
you know, for men's sex drive, you need a certain level of estrogen. Like there's when men starting taking like a lot of testosterone, and they take estrogen blockers. And if they take too many estrogen blockers, and if you totally cut off your estrogen, it actually kills your sex drive. So yeah,
Completely.
you need a certain level of estrogen in your body for your body to function properly. But too much of it, you start, you know, you get gynecomastia, like the, you know. The
I
male
really want to
boobs
know
and-
how much
titties.
do you really have to eat of
Yeah.
whatever you're doing in life for it to affect you? You know what I mean? Because like I looked it up and nobody had a real answer, like exactly how much you'd have to consume per day to start getting those side effects.
Those side effects. Well, I think again, it's how
Like
your body processes it. You know what I mean?
Got it.
And like I said, in the whole vegan thing, like my son's mother did terribly when she ate meat or like ate bread and whatnot. Like she couldn't eat the way I was eating.
Right.
But when she was just juicing, like just carrots
killing it.
and dude, she will like have like people think she's on Adderall. Like she will sleep for like 3 hours. She used to be a fitness instructor, so she'll go do like 3 spin classes in a row, and then come back and then like
Jesus.
and then she was also a dancer, so she'll like come back and like dance and then like just have so much energy. She'll just like talk for like hours straight as if she was like high on something. This blabbermouth, like she was just so full of energy, and she looked amazing when she was doing that. As soon as she started eating the way I ate,
It was completely
Yeah.
opposite.
terrible. She was sluggish. She
That's
wasn't
crazy.
feeling good.
Because I also feel like
You
a
know?
little bit, and you know, it's not downsiding it because the mind is a beautiful thing, but
Yeah.
I think once you feel any type of positive with whatever you're doing, if it's eating or juicing, it's the placebo effect too, because now your body feels like it's, oh shit, it's helping me.
Mm-hmm.
It's for sure helping me. Now, I've heard so many stories where people like can just use their mind to cure a lot of their things. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the power of belief.
Powerful.
You know, and I'm not talking about like Jesus and religion and stuff, but like
Yeah.
just the power of belief of, like, they've done placebo things, like gave
Yeah.
people sugar pills that did nothing, and they were like, "Yo, I'm better," and
Yeah.
they got better.
Yeah.
So it kind of
Yeah.
shows
It's
you.
definitely
Well,
a psychological thing.
Because like again, like people forget that we're a chemical factory, right? So when the mind decides that it's some certain thing is happening, it will activate different chemical reactions in your body, which will naturally,
Cure you.
it will bring you to the same result as if introducing actual chemical that's going to do the same thing. It's like, even like they say, like DMT, like our body naturally produces it, right?
Yeah.
So we release all different kind of chemicals naturally in our body. So if the mind is in the right state for everything to happen naturally, it's that chemistry, that change will happen in the body.
Dude, have you ever seen those frogs in was it South
Hey,
America?
it's funny somebody just bring that up.
Really?
The frog.
And
Because I was gonna say
the combo thing, like
the love drug.
the love drug. You haven't heard of it, man?
the love,
Dude,
no.
okay, so there's this frog, and like I don't know where it's in South America, I want to say.
Shout out
But
to Vice.
so we saw it on Vice. They did this like 30-minute episode where essentially there's this frog that produces like natural DMT within its body or something like that. Is that what it is?
Is it DMT? I don't know if it's DMT.
It's like an ecstasy or something, right? Like a
It's crazy.
There's different. So there's one called combo, which is a certain type of frog, and it's sort of like a poison, but it helps your body detox, your mind and your body. To
Oh yeah,
detox.
I think that's a different
So
one.
that's the one you burn, and then there's there's frogs. They're actually toads out in Arizona. They come out when it's raining, and from their gland, if you squeeze it, you basically you catch them, and then you squeeze them, and then you rub their back, and it extracts 5-MeO DMT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you put it like on a glass plate, or like those medical.
Yeah, those.
So
the ones you look through.
yeah, so you put it there, and then you let it dry, and if you cut it up and you smoke it,
Yeah.
you have these insane visionary.
wait, is that in the Amazon?
No, he said Arizona.
That
Was
one,
it?
Arizona.
Oh, okay.
They might have the same toads.
See, because the
in
Vice
Arizona.
documentary is saying it's
But-
an Amazonian frog called Philo-Medusa bicolor or
Okay,
sapo.
so what type of?
It produces an LSD effect.
Yeah, it's not DMT.
Yeah, it's an
different.
LSD effect.
So
Yeah.
I've never heard of those frogs
Yeah.
before.
So like this guy like goes down there, man, and they basically like smoke the toad or I don't know what exactly what it is, but it produces such a crazy like high supposedly that they almost like
how long does it last?
it doesn't last long, man. I think like the guy was showing it, like he showed the entire process of it happening, and it wasn't more than like it was probably like under 10 minutes.
Isn't it almost the same as
That
DMT?
sounds like DMT.
Yeah, same as
Is it?
DMT. Very short.
So it might be a 5-MeO DMT too.
It might be.
Like,
might
isn't
be.
salvia the same though too? I know it's a terrible drug,
salvia.
but it's
Well,
10 minutes, right?
I
Around.
don't know if it's terrible. The thing a lot of people don't understand that salvia, how the Incas did it and how the healers use it over there, they do it as a tea.
Ah.
So it's more subtle. Like the Western world wants
Smoked
to make everything more intense. So then you get the 20 time, 40 time, 60 time extract, which is I think it blasts you off so fast. And salvia's world is such a strange.
It's like the
It's a
death drug.
Very,
you know what I mean?
very strange world. But I mean, I must say, like when I tried it and I came back,
You've tried salvia?
yeah,
Ooh.
it was
Didn't you just say you tried ayahuasca?
I've done ayahuasca like
Okay, yeah,
nine
that's
times.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Yeah.
That's an-
I've done ayahuasca like 9 times, but I haven't done it in a while.
9
Damn.
times?
How do you like those? Like, are they what would it be? LSD or DMT?
Well, okay, so ayahuasca it's a brew, right?
Yeah.
From the Amazon, and the sort of the visionary property in it is the DMT. But the ayahuasca root, the vine itself, is it's an MAO inhibitor. So we have a thing in our body that actually breaks down the DMT. So it's like a type of stomach chemical that we
Yeah.
have. So that's why we don't start tripping out from the DMT our body naturally produces, because it breaks it down immediately. So the ayahuasca root actually stops for the DMT to break down. But it's very alkaline, so it chases out acidity from the body. So when they brew these things together, which usually they use a chakrani leaf because it's really high on DMT,
Yeah.
and sometimes they use other plants for the DMT. So they brew it together, and sometimes they mix other things into, and then that brew that they boil for a long time, then they drink that. So ayahuasca is it's extremely cleansing. It's helped people like with stomach cancer. I had a friend who had Crohn's disease, and Crohn's disease is not technically curable by Western medicine. He was cured within 5 months.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it heals the stomach a lot.
Do you have to do anything like? Is there a process before you take ayahuasca, like cleansing
for
wise?
sure.
Yeah, there's a cleansing process, right?
It's great it'll make your journey a lot easier.
Yeah.
To purify your body a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be detoxing.
Yeah.
My buddy just did it, and he said
Overwhelming.
He said it's changed his perspective on life. Period.
For
He
sure.
said-
I think
for sure it'll change
any
you.
trip, like any time you trip, and I think you enter a realm that you can't enter as a normal human being, and I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't say everybody do it, because some people just don't need it, but
Yeah.
I'd say it's definitely something like it's like going on vacation. You definitely experience something you'll never experience ever in your life.
Well,
if
yeah,
you do something like
you're
that.
allowed to experience the different, because I feel we operate on programs. Like, so wherever you grew up, whatever the religion is, whatever your parents' beliefs are, that becomes your reality, right?
Yeah.
So all those inputs, or whatever you're watching on TV, whatever your attention goes to, but that's not all of reality. And when you're taking these substances, it allows you to see maybe a larger perspective of what reality might be, or just a different plane
Yeah,
of
exactly.
existence.
Is it like you essentially
You know?
like step outside of your body and you see yourself happening?
Yeah, a different realm,
Is that
basically.
essentially what it is? Like
That too. It could be that kind of experience. It could be you start experience more of the energetic realm. You could maybe experience what the plants might be experiencing,
damn.
how they communicate.
It's
I don't
deep,
think I could
man.
ever do that.
How
now.
animals might communicate. Maybe
Yeah.
you will see through their eyes. Like you can experience all different types of things depending on the plant and the medicine and the whatever you're meant to experience.
And I guess also just where your mindset is, because that's the thing. You're
Yeah.
gonna see demons. If you're fighting demons, you're probably gonna have
we
to
all have
face
demons,
them. You know?
bro. We all have
Yeah.
demons, and I feel like ayahuasca is it's very purging, and it'll show you your demons, because it helps you. You have to make peace with your demons in some way or another to get to the next level of
It's like some anime.
experience. Yeah. No, it's amazing. I remember I had like visions where some really intense stuff came up to me, and it came up visually as these monsters like with millions of teeth, and they're coming at me, and I'm just like, okay, just meet it with compassion, just be fully present and see it, and it'll like transform into like millions of little flowers, and just
Yeah, that's
burst into
Yeah.
and just like these different realms would start opening up. I don't know, it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's dope though, man.
Yeah.
that's trippy, man. Do you think anybody can do ayahuasca, or do you think it takes like a certain kind of
Well,
person?
you definitely have to check your medical condition. There's
Yeah.
certain like heart conditions you probably shouldn't do it because it's pretty harsh on your body.
Is it legal or illegal, or is there like a
There's I think Santo Daime and certain religious groups have been exempt where they're allowed to practice it because they practice it as a church.
Dang.
But I
crazy.
don't think, because DMT is a scheduled drug in America, that I don't think it's technically legal if you're not doing it under a certain umbrella.
yeah.
But you can go do it in Peru or Costa Rica. I think even Mexico there might be some. I know there's Ibogaine centers in Mexico, so I won't be surprised.
What
if
is
there's
that?
a place. Ibogaine is it's a plant from Western. God, sorry if I'm wrong. I believe it's Western Africa. Just look it up, Ibogaine. But it's really powerful psychedelic too. It could be dangerous for some people that have heart problems. People have died on it.
Ooh.
But when it's put in properly, like the centers that are using it, they extract the toxic stuff out of it, and they just give the stuff that's for the visionary experience. But it could be like a 36-hour journey. But they said it's something like 80% of addicts who use it come back like
Clean.
clean.
Wow.
They
See, 'cause, like-
overcome their addiction because it basically unwinds your whole life in front of you almost.
Damn,
So
that's
so
deep.
you see like exactly like this, almost like a spirit guide comes to you, and it's like you're almost like watching a movie of your own life, so you understand where you develop maybe those habits of
Yeah.
why you develop these addictive tendencies. And so it also mentally, but it apparently also biologically changes you, so you can actually become allergic to whatever you're addicted to. Just crazy.
Damn,
Wow.
it's like instant help to smokers or.
But
Oh yeah,
but it
so
itself
of course
is
it's not,
not-
of course it's not legal in America because they want people to be hooked to drugs. They're like,
Pharmaceuticals.
go do methadone, like go do this, go like this.
Hey.
This country is very
It's a business, you know.
That's
They
a
need
whole-
that
that's a whole
money.
other
it's just-
conspiracy
it's a
right there.
business. Well, it's not a
It's
not a conspiracy. That's it.
Cons-
It's the truth.
Yeah,
like that's what
conspiracy.
Yeah.
people like try to make everything in conspiracy. I'm like, no, just look at how the money flows and
Yeah,
look at what type
all
of
the money.
treatments are really out there. Then you understand that it's not a conspiracy. It's happening for a specific reason.
Well,
you know?
I meant more of the conspiracy of like, oh, they already have a cure to cancer. Like they have because this is what my dad always says.
They have a bunch of cures for
they
cancer.
have a bunch of cure for cancer, but what's the best way to be profiting, right? It's just to give them something that works 1 out of 100 times and it costs
Well,
a lot of money.
It's like
Real talk.
like I said, we go back to the whole thing of making lifetime users of pharmaceuticals, getting kids hooked on drugs at
Yeah.
a young age, giving kids speed, Ritalin, Xanny. It's the same thing. It's like they want addicts. They want people that need them to keep buying their pills because it's a $1 billion industry. It becomes a thing of its own.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't want a freaking cure. That was freaking ruin everything.
Because like that's like anything you do in life. If you make a phone that's the best phone ever,
Yeah.
and nobody has to upgrade, they're never gonna get a new phone from you. And most of those companies that do that, they go out of business.
Yep.
So it's just how life is. And if you don't believe it, like anything you do, like just remember, like there's always something better out there already just waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's just market.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but everybody does it in
Yeah.
the business realm.
Yeah, it's disposable. What's it called? Disposable. There's a certain name for it. But yeah.
But real quick too, I just want to
Go
like
ahead.
say something for the like LSD or anything, because I think now I don't want to say it because I want to look it up, but
Yeah.
I don't think acid you can overdose on acid. I don't think you can like legitimately on the
Yeah,
chemistry side, but you can
you-
die from it from heart problems, right?
You,
So it
you
doesn't
can
mean, like,
die from heart problems, and you can also your mind can be so overwhelmed that
Go in shock?
Like your consciousness can you can become schizophrenic from taking too much LSD.
Damn, that's crazy.
But that's like it just depends on the person and the type
Yeah,
of
that
dosage.
too.
You know, it's like if you take way too much and you're already not a very stable person, or if you already have a schizophrenic tendencies, it's not the best. Even like ayahuasca, if you're somebody, who's not very grounded and is too out there,
Yeah.
like people who are like, oh, my bunny is like the reincarnation of Jesus Christ kind of type of person. 'Cause there's people like that
Yeah.
who are way out there and just
Left and
believe in
right.
all kind
Don't
of crazy
do that.
shit. If they start taking it, it just will. They can
Take him to that next level of crazy.
Yeah, be in a permanent state,
Oh, man.
state of psychosis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't feel like I could ever do that,
it's
man.
definitely not for everybody, man.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it would do to me, but I get scared, man. Like what
What?
if it completely changes me? Like if I do something like that.
Ayahuasca, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think it'll be great for you.
Think so?
Yeah, for sure. Because you are a very grounded person. Like both of you guys are like machines. You're very dedicated to your dreams, and you're doing everything you want to do. You're moving. You're actually living
Yeah.
in the what you believe, and you're getting better at what you do. So you're a grounded person. So I think it'll be a great experience for you because
We'll see. We'll have to take a trip down to-
maybe help
Yeah.
help you remove some stuff that you don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a trip down to what's it called?
I'm down.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Guatemala. You can go to there's so many different places.
You said Costa Rica does it?
it's- I think Costa Rica has a center too.
Damn.
Yeah.
There's a
more
center
than
for
one.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good to go to the ones that like actually will medically check you up. And,
Yeah.
I
I don't know why
And-
in my head I'm
and-
thinking
and-
it's like this like around the fireplace, like you're kind of like in an Indian tribe and you're doing
peyote you do around a fire sometimes, but ayahuasca pitch black is the best
Oh God, that sounds so scary. Like,
yeah.
because the darkness becomes your projector.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I could be in the dark and see that monster with 1,000 teeth that you were talking about.
because that was the one thing when I
You
used
just
to
gotta
Scary,
breathe,
bro.
breathe through it, man.
when I used to take
Yeah.
like LSD. That was like the one place I usually didn't want to go is the dark because I'm like, yo,
Everything gets
You
intense.
lose yourself. You're like, whoa,
Everything
like
gets intense.
it's
like
a lot because your mind,
yeah,
like when you see stuff, like that's why when you take it in like the daylight,
Yeah.
it feels really good because you don't really trip hard. But when it starts getting darker and darker, you start really seeing some
it's
next level
intense,
stuff.
dude. I wanna do like mushrooms like in an isolation tank,
What's an isolation
I heard
tank?
Joe Rogan does it. Isolation tank was actually made by this guy called Dr. Lilly. Super amazing guy. He was friends with my dad. But he was like the first guy who really said like dolphins are supremely intelligent and started studying how dolphins communicated. But he also like he experimented a lot with ketamine. And he was a scientist. Like he'll do these crazy, take high dosages and like monitor himself and see what's happening in his body and where he goes consciously. And he created this thing. Essentially, the stuff he created was like it was like a metal tank almost. It's a metal box that he filled
With water, right?
with salt water that's like super buoyant. So you go in and you close it off, and then there'll be no sound from the outside, and you're just in this pitch black space where you're floating, and it puts you in this altered state.
Because you can't feel your body.
You can't feel your body. There's no.
How do you breathe in the water?
No. You're outside of the water. It's like laying because salt water, so you're buoyant.
You're floating, and it's not super deep.
Okay.
It's just deep enough so your body can float in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But remember, there's salt, so when you put more salt in the water, your body goes to the top.
It just
so
floats.
you won't sink.
Yeah, it's like the Dead Sea, where it's like a crazy amount of sodium in it.
Yeah, I've heard Joe Rogan does that, but what when he's on shrooms, right?
He does it when he's like under the influence of THC. He apparently with mushrooms too. And I was like, wow, that must be
a crazy experience.
That must
you're
be
completely
amazing
leaving.
because mushrooms already is such a transformative experience, and to combine the two. Yeah,
they have
down
some of
for
those
that.
out here. You know what I mean? They have the tanks out here. They have a few places.
I don't think I'll be able to do it in somebody else's tank because I mean a mushroom trip usually lasts for like 4 hours.
So you'd have to buy your own.
I guess so. Yeah. I don't have the space for it right now.
I
Those
think they
things are
have like
big.
portable ones. They have like these ghetto portable ones, but they do look like they work. Cause
You get on Amazon Prime.
Like they're foldable and stuff, and you just fill them up with water. They look like little tents. I swear I seen them on a Kickstarter.
But how does that actually stop the sound?
The sound's the only thing I don't know.
Yeah,
if
it
they can
seems
do
like
that.
it's like
Seems sketch.
really. Yeah,
You can put
it
little earplugs in.
yeah, I guess so.
This is like a Kickstarter that got started and then it just ran off with everybody's money.
Yeah, right.
Damn it, I bought one.
I need to do one of those.
But so looking at your Instagram, like you're super into like fitness and working out, right?
Yes.
How often do you work out, man?
I really listen to my body. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm like going through a phase where I work out 7 days a week. Other times I'll like work out twice a day, take a day off. Or lately, what I've been doing is I felt like I was getting too tight. I was getting too much into just weightlifting and doing
a lot of kickboxing though, right? Or like
I'm trying to loosen up again. I miss just that feeling of the natural flow of energy in my body.
Yeah.
And so I'll weightlift one day and do movement, and then the next day I'll just do movement, and then I'll do it, and then I'll take like a day off.
Yeah.
And that's been working really well for me.
What would
lately.
movement be like? Just like lightweight toning?
Movement will be I'll do more calisthenics and then
got it.
kickboxing,
Yeah,
punching.
like body weight.
And do like a lot of stretching, kind of like I like the sexercise stuff I do, like a lot of kind of mimicking sexual movements, but just by myself.
So is the whole exercise thing? Because that was gonna lead into one of my last questions for you.
Yeah, go for it.
What projects are you currently working on right now that you? Because I know you're talking about the exercising thing, and you wanted to find out if you wanted to make it like a course or a workshop or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. So just processing that, because like I'm really good on like one-on-one instruction, because I did that before.
Yeah.
For me, it's a challenge for me to put it into course format. I just don't really know how to do it. So I've been kind of stuck there for a while. Like I can show you what I do, or I can design a one-on-one course, but like how do I create something that all levels can do? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a real challenge for me. So that's where kind of I'm like still trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm a little stuck there.
Are you still writing your book? Because I remember the last time that I was at your house.
Yeah.
You were writing a book, weren't you? Like or is that the same project that you were working on, or is that something different?
No, I was writing just ideas of how I want it structured, and like the key elements to like what is it to be a great lover and how do you get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So going back to the whole like adults entertainment company, are you still looking to do something in that? Because I know you said that you
Yeah,
kinda,
I mean, for me, that is one of my passions. Like, I want to create beautiful erotica. I want to create stuff that captures the true essence of like sensuality and passion between a man and woman, and that interplay, that dance, and using it as a visual. Because I feel we learn a lot through our visual experience, and I the power of media and TV is so amazing. Like, literally, I believe even the male escorting thing, the only reason why it exists now is because TV made it okay. The only reason why you can walk into the Social Security Center and see a guy all tatted up is because of Miami Ink. TV creates, like media creates reality, and because we're creatures of that mimic behavior. So for me, like I've wanted to, from my own self, but also for the world, to just create an alternative for this beautiful sexuality where women can really express themselves sexually too, where they're not stuck in a box of the male fantasy, where they can show like really how would they express if they were, if they were they had the mutual ground to say like, this is what I like, so yeah, no, that's something I still want to do. Like I said, like you guys know I had a company with my ex, and I've always wanted to do it with somebody I love more than just do it
random people,
and yeah, I mean, definitely, I definitely want to get back there. My funding kind of fell through for my next company, so I just been patient, man, just clocking on with what I do, and keep my vision, and yeah.
Hey, well, if you're out there watching, hit Ash up.
Yeah,
Fun.
man. Like, yeah, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Snapchat too. But I also have a Facebook page that I haven't been that active on. But I have my YouTube channel. It's Ash Armand 1. And some of my sexual fitness stuff is there, so you can watch it. And if you comment and if you tell me, like, you want certain types of videos, I like to make videos that are actually going to help you.
Yeah.
So I'm down to
where it's more like it's like you're doing it because somebody out there needs that, right?
Down to doing that. And if anybody like is out there who even wants like counseling for like fitness or like sexual stuff, like things that they're dealing with, that they need somebody to talk to, like I do consulting, so you can hit me up through, you can write on my YouTube page, and or even like DM me on my Instagram, and we can do that.
We'll definitely go ahead and put like all your information like down in the description of the video, and then also for the podcast. Yeah. That way, anybody who kind of like listens to it, and even if they take something away from it, they can hit you up and tell you they took something away from it. But man, thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you so much, man.
I know you're sweating right now, bro.
Dude, I'm sweating bullets right now.
Just so y'all know, we say this every time, but RAC. Well, we don't even have an AC.
We don't have an AC unit. Yeah. Well, we're keeping it real with you guys, all right? So right now,
we're detoxing, okay?
We're detoxing our bodies. Look, do you see how I'm not sweating, bro?
Yeah, you're not.
Chuck's not sweating.
I know. I'm like,
our bodies are trained,
bro. I think they're getting trained. Yeah. Because I was like sweating super bad before.
Really?
But now my body's
when you live your life with less things, your body is
it adjusts, man, dude. I've never.
Evolution.
One last story. Like when I lived with my grandfather in Maine for 1 year, I remember it was like in the winter, it gets freaking cold over there. And he came up and he complained about me putting the heat too high once. And I was like, I was a little rebel. I was like, screw this dude. So I put off the freaking heat for the whole winter. And I did great. Like your body just adjusts to it.
It's a beautiful thing.
I got into like amazing like meditative states, because that's when I really started meditating a lot. Like when I was like 16. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like just to make your body do something it doesn't normally do. It activates.
That was like when my hot water went out at one of my houses. And we were like, we're not paying for it. We're moving out of here. So we had like 6 months of no hot water, and it was winter. So I was literally like, I literally would go in there and just be like, no, I'm gonna do this.
Freaking Zen monk status, man.
And I was like, ooh, I feel so like get out the shower, feel hella tough and shit. But I heard cold showers are really good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just freaking wakes you the heck up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this whole thing up, last thing, is there any words of advice you have for anybody out there that's watching that you kind of want to inspire? Like any words of wisdom you want to give to them?
Words of wisdom, man. I don't know. I know one thing I've been thinking a lot lately, especially like living in a place like Vegas. I know like a lot of people want to deny their demons. I just believe everybody has demons, and there's things that we're dealing with. I mean by like demons is like things that weigh us down, and like our own self-destructive behavior. And I think like it's okay to have demons. Like it's like you can't judge that, but it's more like using it as your ally. Using those demons, like if you have those feelings and anger, use it. Like go work out. Like find outlets where you can express that and try to, instead of trying to suppress it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think then it becomes very therapeutic. Instead, it becomes an ally rather than something that destroys you. You know, and yeah. I think that's one thing that's been on my mind lately. So, but yeah, I mean, I've a lot of different information stored in me, depending on whatever people need, I can share. And I think that's the best we can do as a human being. Is limited what we know. We're never gonna know all, and all we can do is share what we know, and you know, that's the best we can do. So.
Oh, yeah,
well, I personally learned a lot from this episode,
I learned
man.
a shit ton.
So yeah, thank you for being on, man. Seriously.
Yeah, man. It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks for having me, man. So it was great working with you guys.
The next episode, we try ayahuasca.
Oh,
on live.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next morning dinner.
All
Later,
right.
y'all.
Good night.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.